name is Rachel McDonough, and this is my friend. Hi, I'm Savannah. And we're here at the beautiful Madison Square Garden for the big fight, and you are watching True School Sports.
My flow, my show brought me to go. That brought me all my fancy things. My crib, my cars, my clothes, my jewels. Look, homie, I done came up and I ain't changing. You should love it way more than you hate it. Oh, you mad? I thought that you'd be happy I made it.
Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I wanted to just give my quick thoughts on the Oscar Valdez versus Jason Sanchez fight. It was a top-ranked card that took place this past weekend. It was going on roughly around the same time, when Golovkin Steve Roll was going on, so I didn't have a chance to watch it, but I just got done watching it, and I just have to say, man, Oscar Valdez, what a performance from him, man. I would venture to say that this performance against Jason Sanchez might be the most complete, best performance I've ever seen from Oscar Valdez. We saw a lot of positive signs from Oscar Valdez. Obviously, I think one thing that stuck out to me was the fact that he was able to establish his jab early and often. He landed his jab and changed levels on his jab. When we say change levels, for those of you who may not be familiar with that terminology, changing levels just simply means like I might throw a jab straight, I might come down, I might come up, but I'm changing the level in which you're seeing the punch come at you. So he did a very good job of this many times in the fight. With Jason Sanchez, he was able to back him up with his jab alone. And I was very impressed with what I saw from Oscar Valdez in this fight with Jason Sanchez. Now, Jason Sanchez, for him, this was a massive step-up fight for him because, he had really never fought on this level before. I think his previous opponent before he fought Valdez was a 13-6-2 guy. So this was a Mount Everest of a step up for him in competition. And, basically, Jason Sanchez really, he was the perfect opponent for Oscar Valdez because, as many of us know, Oscar Valdez has been working with Canelo's trainer, Eddie Reynoso. And Eddie Reynoso has been trying to get him to kind of refine that style because, as many of us know who've watched Oscar Valdez, he's been in a lot of wars, most notably with the likes of Miguel Mariaga and Scott Quigg. In that Quigg fight, he fought for like 10 rounds with a broken jaw. So, he needed to make a change and refine his style if he wants to have a long, prolonged boxing career. And that's what he's doing, and it looks great, man. You see Oscar Valdez, he's not falling in with punches anymore. You see Oscar Valdez landing the left hook a lot more because he's working behind his jab. You see, as the fight wore on, particularly in the 8th and the 12th round, Oscar Valdez looks sensational. He looked like $1 million. Now we have to consider the opposition. It was tailor-made opposition. It was good matchmaking by Top Rank, so you got to give a lot of credit to their staff like Brad Goodman and Bruce Trampler, who have long in boxing been some of the best matchmakers out there. But he's looked like a more complete, a more mature, and overall a more seasoned fighter. He's going in there, he's throwing left hooks, he's throwing the overhand right, and it's almost like I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh well, Oscar Valdez is the new Canelo, but a couple of times in this fight where he would throw 1-2 punches, slip 4 or 5 punches, counter with a left hook. He looked like Canelo at times, and it's crazy because we saw Eddie Reynoso do kind of the same thing with Canelo over the years when he was grooming him as a young champion. Canelo, if you go back and you watch early in his career when he was fighting the likes of Jose Miguel Cotto and he got knocked down and had a tough fight, he was a brawler. He was a guy that stood in front of you. He liked to exchange and throw. But as time went on, you saw Canelo improve in terms of his head movement. You saw Canelo improving in terms of his counter punching. You saw Canelo improve in terms of not falling in with punches, so he's not getting hit with flush shots as much. So I really I like what Reynoso has done with Valdez. And they're like 2 fights in to what they've been doing, and Top Rank has put in the right opposition to make Oscar Valdez look like $1 million. Fighters who haven't stepped up to that world-class level and that don't punch that hard, for the weight. So in boxing, obviously, it's dangerous anytime you get in there because anything can happen at any given moment. But they got the closest thing to you can get to a safe opponent in the ring for Oscar Valdez, and that's that. I won't downplay that. That has played a role as to why he's looking so good. But at the end of the day, no matter who they put in front of you, they can put a bum, they can put whoever they want in front of you. You still got to go in there, and you still got to perform, and you still got to be on your P's and Q's as a fighter. And we saw Valdez. I mean, to be honest with you, I had a hard time giving Jason Sanchez more than one round. I think maybe he won. There was one time in the 7th round where he was smothering Valdez, and he had some success. But other than that, it was pretty easy pickings for Oscar Valdez. Damn, the light went off. Oscar Valdez in his fight with Jason Sanchez. So just really liking what I'm seeing from him. I like the growth. I like the evolution. But we won't really get a true sense of how much Valdez has grown under Eddie Reynoso and with that new style of his until we see Valdez in there with a top fighter. So, you know, he's still at 126. It's a known fact that with Valdez, he's been there for years. He's struggling to make the weight. So, you know, what does he do next? You know, does he still stay at 126 and go for his 7th world title defense? Because, you know, he's defended it 6 times. Or does he move to 130? Now, my thing is this. If I were Eddie Reynoso and Oscar Valdez and all parties involved in this camp, I would move to 130. You know, I think you're risking and you're chancing a lot if you decide to leave him there at 126. And they were saying that a potential fight, his last potential fight at 126 could be against Carl Frampton. Now, Carl Frampton, he's coming, if he were to fight Valdez, he'd be coming off that loss to Josh Warrington. And you know, Frampton, for as good of a fighter as he was maybe 3 years ago, he has declined. He is no longer the best version of himself as a fighter. He's not the guy that won Fighter of the Year a couple years ago. But he's still Carl Frampton. He still has some quality in there. And if Valdez is having a hard time making the weight, he doesn't feel strong at the weight, it could catch up to him. And Frampton might just fight beyond what we expect. And Valdez might lose, so it's something you're gonna risk if you go in and leave him with Frampton. But you know, I think he's had a solid title run at 126. You know, he's beaten the likes of Miguel Mariaga, he's beaten the likes of Scott Quigg in a fight of the year. You know, he's defended the belt 6 times. I mean, he's a good fighter. You know, we respect Oscar Valdez here on True School Sports, but I want to see him go up there, test the waters at 130. You got the likes of Andrew Cancio, Alberto Machado, Tank Davis. I'm probably missing some names, but it'd be an opportunity for him to really fight at a weight where he's going to feel stronger, where he can test himself against top opposition. And, you know, because at 126, you know, let's have it right. The one fight that many of us wanted to see for Valdez at 126 was always that Leo Santa Cruz fight. It never happened because he's with Al Heyman, and, you know, you just know how that goes. So 130, you know, he can go up there, be at a weight where he feels stronger, be at a weight where he feels better, be at a weight where he has an opportunity to become a 2-division world champion. You know, there's a lot of positives to moving up towards 130 pounds for Oscar Valdez. But I left this fight with him very impressed. You know, in that 5th round early on, he just came, he threw a jab, he came behind the jab with a left hook and put Jason Sanchez squarely on his ass. So you got to give respect is due. And he just looks like a much different fighter. If you go look at the Valdez that fought Quigg to the Valdez that fought Sanchez, it's a night and day difference. And that's only 2 fights with Eddie Reynoso. So I'm not gonna go insane. I'm not gonna go crazy, but I will say at times when I watch this fight, you know, it was almost like watching a shorter Canelo. The style, the head movement, the counter punches, and the ways he was landing punches, the way he was setting them up, you know. So, you know, Eddie Reynoso, man, he's in his bag, working his magic and getting Oscar Valdez, not to run, not to be a runner or whatever like that, but he's boxing real well, he's slipping shots, he's countering well off punches, and, you know, as long as he continues to make those improvements in the gym, I don't see why Oscar Valdez can't go to 130 and become world champion again and beat some quality fighters along the way, because he's got quality, he's got power, he's a fighter, he behaves like a fighter. And that's very important, because you can be a fighter, but you may not necessarily behave like a fighter. Like an example of that would be a guy like Adrian Broner. Yeah, he's a fighter, but there's been many instances in his career where he doesn't necessarily behave like a fighter. Valdez behaves like a fighter. He conducts himself like a fighter. He behaves like a fighter in the ring. He's got good skills to boot. He got a good jab. Got above average power at the weight. Will it carry at the 130? I'm not sure, but my bet would be yes, it would, and he'd be a stronger fighter at the weight. And just overall, all I can say about Oscar Valdez versus Jason Sanchez is good performance. Probably the best Oscar Valdez I've ever seen in his career. So that's what I'm gonna leave it at. Oscar Valdez, Jason Sanchez. Valdez looking like a freaking mini Canelo at times. Those are my thoughts on the fight. You can leave yours down below. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you take the time to subscribe. Do all that good stuff. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers, and we're gonna get there soon, hopefully. Make sure you guys also follow me on Twitter at True School Sports. And if you want to connect with me there, you can. Follow me on Instagram at justakidfromdania. My social media links are on the About section of my page, and just keep supporting the channel, keep supporting the real. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT. We're at the Davy Powell, and you're watching True School Sports.